I'm Alicia Fleck with Argentina Gold Foods, and I am the creator of Kiss of Heat, which is a sweet heat condiment that's for cooking and dipping. I'm here over at Ali MV at Historical Roswell, and we are going to give you a little mini class today since we are all socially staying at home. And we just wanted to share some of the work that we have done in the past with our classes and hopefully in the future when we are open again. So today we are going to go over a couple of the items that we have here available at the store, and we're going to go over how to make a hard-boiled egg in the Instant Pot. And let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you a few accessories. So as far as things that are cool to have for the Instant Pot, you don't have to have it, but we've got our little basket here, which we're going to use today for our eggs, and then we've got our little gripper here to pull our eggs out because they'll be hot when we take them out. But you can also, we have this cute little silicone basket here that can also go inside the cooker, and you can use that for steamed vegetables, but you can use it for, we're going to use it possibly for the eggs in the future, but today we're going to use the basket. So, and these are one of our favorites. It's like we've got the little mini mitts, and the mini mitts because the Instant Pot does get hot. So when we pull it out, we're going to use our little instant mitts if we have to pull the whole pot out. And let's see, there's also lots of places you can put eggs inside, because there's also this little holder here that you can place into the actual Instant Pot like that and put the eggs in it. And I've also used it to put chicken legs on so they don't fall through, because lots of things don't need to touch the bottom of the pot when it's cooking. So, and then this little gadget is super cool. The silicone portion is this part, and you can do egg bites with it that you basically buy at a drive-through sometimes. You can do little tiny cheesecakes. You could do little tiny brownie lava cakes in it. And this is the only part that goes into the actual Instant Pot. And then this piece right here will melt. So this is actually only to store it in your refrigerator or freezer after you're done making your product. So that's just an extra cool accessories that we have. Oh, and our 7-inch springform pan. This is a great accessory. This is one of my favorites across the board. In fact, I had my sister tell me she's never even heard of one. So you can use this to make cheesecakes. I made key lime pies. You can make that in the Instant Pot. You can do lasagna. You can do enchiladas. It's a great size, especially if there's just only one or two of you at the house. So this is a nice small lasagna that you can have homemade at your house in a tiny little pot, fresh, without having to have too much where you have to freeze it all. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ingredients that we're going to use. So we've got our black truffle sea salt that we're going to use today, and it is a delicious addition to your cooking condiments in the kitchen. I use it for everything, including popcorn, and we're going to use it on the eggs today. And in addition to it, just to add a little bit more luxury, we're also going to use our white truffle oil, and we're also going to use a little bit of Zatar. And Zatar comes in different ways, but this one in particular just happens to be just 3 ingredients. And hang on. The 3 ingredients are dried thyme leaves, roasted sesame seeds, and sumac. So that Zatar, that goes on everything. I put that on vegetables. You can make dressings with it. I use it for, you put it on Greek yogurt with a little bit of olive oil. You use any flavors that you like. The garlic goes great with it, the butter goes great with it, the truffle goes great with it. So there's tons of olive oils that you can use that taste delicious with that Zatar on all different kinds of foods that you have normally at your house when there's not an epidemic. So, today, we're hoping that the eggs are back in the market, so that will be something simple and easy for you to do. And you won't believe how wonderful it is. I have tried cooking eggs in every way, shape, or form, and the Instant Pot makes them perfect every single time, because basically it steams them instead of boils them, and it just makes it for the shell to come off really easy. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So, all right, this is our Instant Pot over here, and it has got, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's got a vent and it's got a seal, and we're going to talk about that when we actually put the water in. And we have decided today that we are going to use our little basket, because it also has the handle. It makes it easier to pull it out. And you can put up to 18 eggs in this one 6-quart Instant Pot. and it'll cook just fine. It doesn't matter if they're stacked. You just want to be kind of careful when you put them in there so they don't crack on the way in. And then you want to fold that handle down. So the Instant Pot does require some kind of moisture in it. So we're going to start with just a cup of water. So, I mean, depending on what your recipes are, you could use broth, you could use wine, but you got to have at least a half a cup to a cup of water, because that's the steam that's going to be created to do the pressure to makes the Instant Pot work. So that is pretty much all we need to do as far as putting things in. Sorry. And then the lid locks, and then you just have to make sure, I can't tilt it really, but that you have turned our little knob over to seal. And on the front, you can see that we're off, we're on really. And the most important button here is the pressure cook button. And this particular recipe is called the 555. So you're going to actually pressure cook it for 5 minutes. And it's going to take a little while for it to come up to pressure. So that 5 minutes starts when it's actually at pressure, and there'll be a little tiny metal piece here that'll pop up to the top, and you'll know that it's at pressure. And plus there'll also be indications on the screen that'll tell you that it's already started to do the cooking part. And then after 5 minutes, we're going to let it naturally release for 5 minutes. And that I'm going to tell you a little bit about when we get to that point. There's natural release and quick release. And after our 5 minutes of natural release, we're actually going to quick release it and get our little eggs out, and we're going to put it in our ice water for 5 minutes. So that'll give us our 555. And at 5 minutes, we'll be able to take that shell completely off without any effort whatsoever. It comes out perfect every time. And we're going to do some sliced eggs and make them really beautiful with a little bit of all of the condiments that we've talked about here. And there's no reason why you shouldn't have a fancy little something when you're having a meal at your house by yourself or with your friends and family. So let's go ahead and get it started. And let's see here. Okay, so we are going to pressure cook here. It's already on 5 minutes. It shows normal and high. And we are going to, well, actually that's all we have to do since the timing's already on 5 minutes. Yep, it's turned itself on, and it's now starting to go to pressure, which depending on what you're cooking could take anywhere from 10 to 18 minutes. It just depends on if the product inside is already hot, the pressure will come up quicker. If the product that's in there is kind of cold, it'll just take a little bit longer, because you could actually cook something frozen inside the Instant Pot, but that's a whole different class. So, but for this one, we'll just wait till it comes to pressure, and when it gets to the end of the 5 minutes of cooking under pressure, it'll beep, and that's when we'll start our countdown for it to do the natural release. All right, well, it just beeped, and it is now at 0, so you can see that on the clock. So the pressure has come to full pressure, and actually you won't be able to see it, but right here there's a little pin next to the seal, and it is all the way up, and that's a #1 indicator that we are at full pressure. So right now we're at full pressure. So we are going to go for another 5 minutes. I can't remember exactly. It's like, let's see what happens here. It should count up. So, yep, there it goes. It's counting up. So it's going to count up to 5. So that right now is going to be the natural release of its cooking. And then after the 5 minutes are done, then we're going to do a quick release, which I'm going to show you how to do with our olive oil wooden spoon here at Ali & B. And that way we can also make sure that we're safe, because the steam that comes off of there is actually very dangerous. You don't want to have your face in it or anybody else get hurt when you're cooking with an Instant Pot. But they are completely safe. They're not your grandma's instant, kind of pressure cooking. So you don't have to be afraid anymore. It's all programmed, and it's completely safe, and it adds such a huge dimension of cooking ideas for your kitchen. So I think you'll really enjoy the Instant Pot and learning more about it as we have more classes. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and do a quick release. So we've got sealing here, which is what it's been doing, and we're gonna move it to venting, and we're gonna use our wooden spoon so we don't hurt anybody. And at that point, We're gonna let all the pressure release, and we'll know that it's done when that little silver pin drops. And at that point, we can open the pot, and it'll be completely safe to do so. And it did release a lot, so there really wasn't a lot of water and air to release. So this is a good thing. And it's almost there, I can hear it. And there it goes, the little pin. Okay, so it looks like it dropped. I'm gonna put my hand right in front of it. I'm gonna turn it, and we're gonna lift it. And some things that people had not noticed is that it has a place to hold your lid, which is a real bonus action that I didn't even find for the first 3 months. So we've got our eggs here, and we're gonna put them into our ice water, and we're gonna leave them in there for 5 minutes so that they get a chance to cool off. And right now it looks like none of the eggs broke, so that's Yahoo. And there we go. So that's our next step right there. And so just go ahead and let them cool off a little bit for 5 minutes. That's why it's a 5-5-5. And so it's an easy recipe to remember. So if you don't have it written down, it's okay, because it'll come to you. And I think, is the clock ticking over here? Yeah, so I guess when it gets over here to 10, you can go ahead and utilize it, the clock that's already on there, or you can use a timer for the 5 minutes, whatever, you know, is easiest, because as soon as we hit our 10, we're gonna hit cancel, and we're gonna just go ahead and turn the pot off, because we're not gonna use it for anything else today. But otherwise, if you were cooking, for instance, I make hummus from scratch with dried garbanzo beans in this, and it makes fabulous hummus. And you can cook up the beans in 40 minutes, and you can actually leave it in there up to 10 hours before you do anything with them, and it'll stay warm, it won't hurt anything. So it's also a good unit to keep things warm when you're not ready to use things right away. So it's just one of the fabulous things that Instant Pot does for your kitchen. And we're gonna do, like I said, more of this so we can show you some of the other fabulous things that it does and makes your life so much easier. And you can actually eat real food, and we don't have to go to that freezer case, which at this point is probably empty right now. So it's okay. You can make your own healthy foods, and that's pretty much here at IMV and with Argentina Gold Foods. We're all about making foods healthy and at home, or at least the stuff that's coming in, making it taste better with something that's natural. Our eggs, we're sitting in ice water so we can get them nice and cooled off, and I'm going to see what happened. It's like at the very bottom of the egg, there's like a little hole, a little bit of air, and that's usually the best place to go ahead and start the break. As you can see, it just cracks it right there. And then the rest of the egg, I've done this while I was driving a car. Not that I'm saying that that's safe, but I can actually completely take the shell off of an egg while driving a car. That just shows how fabulous this process is. But it's like, there we go. That is, woo, a perfect egg, which never happens in any other process. So I'm just saying, here we'll show you one more time. We'll crack it on there. You got, whoop, got your holes over there. And yeah, pretty much you can even roll it in your hand. That'll crack it all at once. And you can use water just to make sure you don't have any extra little seeds in there. You're gonna dump that anyway. All right, so there's some perfect eggs. And the ones that are already and still in the shell, you don't have to eat them all at once. I make them on a Sunday night so I can have something to grab and go. Just put them just this way into your refrigerator. You can just grab it with you. And I actually take a little bit of Zatar, a little truffle salt, and I have a little tiny bottle of olive oil so that I can enjoy it wherever I am. So it's just something simple to do, and you don't have to eat fast food anymore. So that's always a great thing too. So I'm gonna show you a cool little gadget, which I'm sure your grandmother used, but nobody really uses it much anymore unless they're in the restaurant business. But it's an egg slicer, because there's no reason why you really shouldn't treat yourself special. So we're gonna go ahead and slice our egg, and it does a really great job of making it perfect. So, oh, okay, that was me. So, there we go. Spread this little guy out. Okay. Given a little practice, it'll make it actually perfect. But short of that, we're gonna go ahead and spread them out a little bit so they look pretty. because again, you're special and you should enjoy pretty food. And clean that off of here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna drizzle a little bit of our white truffle oil, because it doesn't take much. And here it comes, yeah, just a little bit here, which is nice. And we're going to actually use a little spoon here because my hands are wet. I know, I moved it somewhere. That's okay. Anyway, I'll use a towel. So, and we're gonna put a little bit of this black truffle sea salt, because a little bit goes a long way. It is salty and it's delicious, but together with the oil, it's fabulous. And then our Zatar that we talked about with the dried thyme and the sumac and the sesame seeds adds fabulous flavor and also makes it look really pretty. And then as a topper, it's really nice to have a little bit of heat. If you're a person that likes to eat heat, but of course this is a sweet heat, so it's not like a knock you down, it's actually something that makes the food taste better. Then we add a little bit of kiss of heat when we make our hard-boiled eggs for ourselves or for appetizers. And that pretty much completes our hard-boiled egg Instant Pot recipe. And you're done. Ooh, absolutely. And let's see. Let me get one of those out of there. They're messy. I need a fork. That is so good.